All right, we are live and we are on time from the War Room alongside Chris Schroyer. I'm Shrikar Rajendran. Welcome in. We are going to be doing a full card recap for UFC Houston. I know last week we had 2 weeks ago, we had Bautista and Oliveira. We missed the recap stream for that. This time we both watched the card. We were able to catch, majority of the action. And I even went back on Paramount to replay some fights and kind of just see what I missed. I missed the Spivak Delia fight, so I watched that while I was back home, and also bits and pieces of other fights as well. So definitely excited to get into it. But Chris, what were your thoughts on the event as a whole? It was definitely a slow burn in my eyes. Prelims kind of starting off a little shaky, a lot of decisions. Edwards was our only finish on the prelim, and then main card really turned it up.
Yeah, no, I agree. It definitely got off to pretty slow start. I'm looking at the fight card right now. You had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 decisions out of 8 fights on the prelims. The only finish was from Jocelyn Edwards, who, if you watched the video, the prediction video, is not related to Leon Edwards and Fabian Edwards. Making that clear. I made a fool of myself. Jimmy's an idiot. Chris is an idiot. But yeah, it definitely was a slow burn. I think that's a great way to put it. But the main card, hey, I think it came through. I think it definitely set the stage for, the viewers that might not want to watch the prelims and kind of just come in for the main card. I know a lot of people like to do that. Some people don't like to tune in for the prelims. They're not, hardcore fans, or they're a little bit more on the casual side. But if you tune in only for the main card, I think you would have been pretty impressed. We saw some great finishes, some unexpected finishes. And then you had a big underdog in Strickland come through in the main event. So yeah, I think there's a lot to talk about. And it overall, I wouldn't say it was terrible. I enjoyed watching it. Even some of the fights that did go to decision weren't terribly boring, but obviously there were a few ones that made you want to close your eyes and take a nap. But yeah, I no complaints on this side.
Hey, what's up, John? Welcome to the stream, man.
What's up, my man?
That women's MMA finish was brutal. You could hear her shoulder pop. Yeah, I actually rewatched. Guy on the left is very handsome. Hey, RJ. Hey, man. What's up, man? What's up? Yeah, we're going to talk about Nora Cornol in a little bit. I actually rewatched that fight because I couldn't actually see the shoulder separation happen in real time. But
brutal.
It was very bad. It was very bad to the point where Nora Cornol has got to take a lot of time off. What's up, Tyler, man? How we doing? Good to see you in stream as always, my brother. But let's get into the first fight of the night, Juliana Miller and Carly Giudice. Nice win. Nice win for Carly Giudice. It wasn't the blowout that the hype might have predicted, especially against someone who probably shouldn't be in the UFC at this point. But I definitely think she handled what Miller does good very well. It was a clear win, a clean win for Carly Giudice. Feels like they're lining her up for a ranked opponent next. And honestly, in this division, it's not a bad move at all. She's 26 years old. She's got 3 straight wins. She definitely has the upside. It was a good win. Just a little more iffy than people expected. And honestly, you know what? Respect to Juliana Miller too. She was a plus 500 underdog going into this fight. Giudice was a minus 800 favorite. She did not quit. She made it very uncomfortable for Carly, and that probably keeps her around because the UFC definitely like fighters who will go for it even when they're down. So I think she'll get another shot in the UFC. I don't think this is the end of the road for Juliana Miller. She must have hit her head as well because she wasn't really responding to the punches. Yeah, man, that was a brutal finish. Miller should stick to OnlyFans. She is very good looking. She is very, very good looking. Chris, what you think, man?
Yeah, I think we got everything that we were expecting from Carly Giudice. I mean, I think it's actually Giudice. I heard Bisping say Giudice. I don't know if we're saying it wrong.
That's because it's Michael Bisping.
Yeah, Giudice.
I'm pretty sure Michael Bisping pronounces everything wrong.
We'll call her Carly just so I don't mess it up. But
hi, Carly.
Yeah, iCarly. And she has an I at the end of her name, so I guess that kind of makes sense. Yeah, I think we got everything we were expecting from her. And Miller, one of the things I said in the prediction video was that she has all the heart and determination in the world, and I think it was pretty evident in the fight. Obviously, there did look to be a level discrepancy in this fight. You could clearly tell who was the better fighter. I think Miller got some good work done in the first round, but once Judice kind of figured it out, Miller was, I would say, kind of clipped. She really doesn't have the striking pedigree to stand with someone like Carly. But yeah, I mean, a big part of MMA is just trying to be the hungrier, faster dog in the race. I think Miller did a good job of trying to do that, but when you don't have the skills to really back it up, it's kind of hard to win fights like these. But yeah, I don't think it's the end of the road for her in the UFC. I think she does need to kind of go back and reinvent herself per se. I think that there definitely needs to be some improvement in the striking game. I think if she gets a striking game, she would be a much more dangerous fighter because she clearly has the grappling. You know, she pushes a fast pace, and if she can kind of meld all of those skills together, I think we'll be talking about Juliana Miller a little bit differently. But yeah, I think Carly should definitely be fighting in the rankings. Someone I was thinking of is like a JJ Aldrich, like lower part of the rankings, a very good grizzled vet in the UFC, someone who can stand and can grapple as well. I think that would be a good test for her. What were you thinking, Shrikar?
Yeah, you nailed it. JJ Aldrich was going to be your next fight. Perfect way to break her into the rankings. Definitely an opportunity for Carly Judice to show out, which I'm sure the UFC wants. But yeah, overall, good win. Good win for Carly Judice to start off the prelims. Jordan Levitt beats Yadier Del Valle. Another performance where it was kind of like get in, get out. Not flashy, not violent, but definitely an efficient performance from Jordan Levitt. He moved up to 145. He kept his cardio. He kept his health intact. Against someone as dangerous as Del Valle, there was really no reason for him to get into a brawl. And I know Yadier Del Valle was trying to force that throughout the fight. I do want to talk about one thing, though, Chris. And chat, we all saw the spank shots. All right? we all saw Levitt smack that booty after the fight, that third round. Was it really, really necessary?
No.
For the UFC, not for him to do it, but for the UFC to replay it immediately after it happened. Because I'm just saying, during the ESPN era, we would never see that get replayed.
Yeah.
Now that we're on Paramount, it definitely feels like there's not really like a tonal shift, but like there's a difference in how things are being displayed and how much freedom and risk they can take. Because we would not have seen Levitt spanking booty and have it get replayed immediately in the ESPN era. Just something I noticed. This fight to go distance was plus money, but I didn't bet it because I was nervous because of how big of a favorite Judice was. Yeah, that's pretty smart, man. That's pretty smart. Del Valle looked decent in BJJ and striking, but his wrestling was atrocious. Yeah, I agree, man. I agree.
Yeah. That was definitely a choice by whoever was directing the broadcast.
I think we don't want to call out the producers or anything. I just found it interesting.
I mean, I have no objections. I think it's kind of funny. Like, if I'm being completely honest, like I was partial. Like, I watched the fight, but I was partially watching that part. But I mean, it's just funny. It gets a laugh, and it kind of makes you think about it. Like, oh, what did he just do? So yeah, I mean, no objections over here, but yeah, definitely a different style of producing and directing. But yeah, I think we've seen a lot of different things between Paramount and the ESPN era. You know, for the better, for the worse, depending on how you take it. I do think the level of production has slightly increased. I do think there are things that I like a little bit more with Paramount than ESPN, but they're obviously on the flip side are some things that I like with ESPN. But back to the fight. I mean, great performance from Levitt. He did everything he needed to do. He really displayed the grappling. I called him a BJJ bot, but now he showed that he really does have a wrestling pedigree as well. And like you said, Shrikar, I mean, Del Valle, dangerous on the feet. He did tag Levitt a few times. He had a few really good knees up the middle. Levitt ate them and was just really able to pivot off that and then get back to what he knows, which is getting the fight to the ground and just pretty much controlling. I think that Del Valle, something that I noticed is just the lack of urgency in the fight when he was in those positions where Levitt was on top of him, or even in the scrambles. I just feel like Del Valle could have done a little bit more to push the pace in terms of, getting back to the feet and in a position where he can really do some damage, because he was doing well on the feet. But Levitt, I really think that the weight cut down to 145, it seemed to have suited him well. I mean, he looked good. He didn't look bad on the scales either. So I'm not sure if he was if he used to be at 145 or this is just a new change, but I really do think that might have been a good decision for him. Obviously, the striking is still the same, how we talked about it on the prediction video. Doesn't really have a striking game, but if you're going to go out there and grapple like that, I mean, you might not need a striking game. But I think one thing I want to turn my attention to, and I want to ask you about this, is for Del Valle, is this fight kind of eye-opening to you in terms of maybe was Yadier Del Valle put on a higher pedestal than he should have been after his last few fights? Like, is he maybe not as good as we were thinking he was, or did Levitt just come in and have the perfect game plan to shut him down?
I tend to think it's a bit of both. Guys, I'm not going to bring up the Dogarian fight. All right.
Doesn't count. That doesn't count.
I'm not going to do it. I will say this kind of makes that performance look really bad.
It looks bad for Dogarian.
It looks bad. It looks bad for the UFC and all parties involved, but I'm not going to get into that. I think Del Valle is still very dangerous. And going into this fight, there were definitely things that he had to round out. I just thought he was going to be too dangerous of a guy for Jordan Levitt. I think the bigger question is, are we calling this a fraud check? And chat, I'll leave it to you. If you think it's a fraud check, let me know. I kind of err on the side that it is, personally.
Could have been. Could be.
Because Yadier Del Valle has had he's had a good start to his UFC career, but now we kind of understand that after the Dogarian fight, which maybe is not as great of a win as it now seems, this was not the performance we wanted from Yadier. Will he be a dangerous guy in the future? For sure. I don't think anything changes with that. And if you guys have watched the channel for a while, you guys know that I tend to not really throw out the term fraud check as much. And if I'm ever using fraud check, it's in a constructive way. A lot of people say fraud check and just kind of use it to bash a fighter. This is all in a constructive means. Yadier Del Valle will get better from this. He will. But I guess in terms of matchmaking, we'll get into that. In terms of Jordan Levitt, definitely feels like he falls into this lane where it's, he's going to be the fun veteran and he's going to be taking on, all action guys, kind of like what we saw in this fight. So in that regard, someone like a Gabriel Santos is interesting to me because, that is literally power and aggression versus a really annoying grappler. And I'm not even going to lie. I could absolutely see Levitt turning Santos's night into a very, very frustrating mess. But that's where I was leaning for him. For Yadier Del Valle, maybe I'd say put him up against someone who is going to bring the fire back to him. I want a strikers matchup for him next, not a grappler. Maybe like a Bogdan Grad. I think that could be interesting, just off the top of my head. But yeah, I wouldn't say that. I would say there was something new we learned about Del Valle, but it's not anything that should be very, very frightening for the prospect of his UFC career.
Yeah, I like what you said about having Del Valle, excuse me, fight someone that's going to bring the fire back to him. I was thinking of someone like a Christian Rodriguez.
Sure. Yeah,
I think that's a good fight because C-Rod is slightly struggling right now. He's on a 2-fight skid. And I think that those are two guys that are just willing to stand up and throw the absolute kitchen sink at each other. And obviously, C-Rod does have somewhat of a grappling pedigree, I would say, along the level of Del Valle, but I think that would be a good test for him, and it would be a good chance for C-Rod to get back on the mend and, get a good win under his belt. Levitt, I'm not really too sure who I would want him to fight next. I mean, featherweight is, I wouldn't say it's like over the top loaded towards the bottom of the pool, but I mean, if this is what we're gonna see from Jordan Levitt, maybe someone like I don't want to overshoot him too. That's the hard thing. I mean, is Daniel Willie Cat Santos a little bit too much?
Dang, so we are each just taking a Santos, aren't we?
Yeah. I mean,
I don't think that's too far fetched. Not at all.
Like Willie Cat is 4-1. I feel like he should be fighting up, but I mean, Levitt looked pretty good. He's also 6-3 in the UFC. So I mean, the guy has the resume, and he's a little bit more of a vet than Willie Cat Santos. But I mean, Willie Cat's obviously very skilled on the feet, but he's also skilled on the ground. So I think that could be a very interesting matchup to see play out at 145.
Maybe what about a Joe Anderson Brito?
Yeah, that too. I think that's kind of in the same range as Willie Cat Santos. But yeah, I mean, impressive from Levitt, to say the least. I mean, he was plus 300 underdog. It's pretty sizable in the UFC, and he came out and fought like the minus 410 favorite.
Alrighty. Okay, guys, there's no world in which
is
Phil
a
Rowe,
decision. Disgusting.
There's no way Phil Rowe won this fight. I don't understand how this was a split decision. Let's talk about Jean-Paul Lebosnoyani. Definitely has clean striking. As we saw, kind of flashes of it on Contender Series, his setups are very, very layered. He's an extremely layered fighter. I think this win showed that he's more complete than people thought. Because say what you want about Phil Rowe, this is a guy who's proven that he can hang in the UFC. And Jean-Paul Lebosnoyani, in his debut, made absolute easy work of him. And I think that says something, I will say this as well. Nobody beats Phil Rowe more consistently than Phil Rowe. The talent is literally there. Like, the talent has always been there. But he just does not he doesn't put it together consistently. And sometimes it feels like he doesn't even realize that. Like, he doesn't realize how much he's sabotaging himself. Like, I don't know. Phil Rowe he shoots himself in the foot. He beats himself. Simple as that. But Jean-Paul Lebosnoyani, definitely impressed. Definitely a great win for him.
So I'm looking at Real right now just to see the round stats of each round, obviously. And I was looking at the judges' scorecard. They've actually never heard of any of the judges that scored the fight. So I except for Jacob Montalvo, and he's the one who gave Phil Rowe rounds 2 and 3. I would give Phil Rowe round 2. I was going to give him a round. I don't think it was a clear-cut 30-27. I think Phil Rowe did land some good shots in that third round. I mean, the second round, excuse me. Did I say give him the third round? Give him the second round. I don't really remember.
Second round.
Yeah, second round. But I mean, in the third round, how do you give him the third round? JPL had 1 takedown, a minute 42 of control, 2 sub attempts, 9 less strikes. But I mean, I just feel like that's ridiculous. I saw someone on Real called Jean-Paul Lebosnoyani. They're like, please win Jake Paul Lamborghini. I thought that was really funny. But yeah, I mean, I think that was a great debut for him. And I think he was a very solid guy to do that against. I mean, Phil Rowe, he doesn't have too many fights, but he's been in the UFC for a while. We consistently talk about him, how he's always a tough test when he wants to fight. But when he's timid and hesitant, You're right. He just shoots himself in the foot consistently. It's just really frustrating to watch. It's almost like Ode Osborne, if I'm being completely honest. And we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, I mean, this guy has a very good build. He's tall, he's lanky, good striker, solid ground game. And it just feels like he can never put it all together. And when he does, and when he does have a win, and all of his wins have come by finish. He has not gone to decision and won a fight. And I think that's for a reason. And it's what you saw last night. It's just the timidness. It's just, you got to go for broke sometimes, especially when you know you might have the striking advantage. And I'm not saying JPL isn't a good striker. He's actually a very good striker. But it's just super frustrating to watch that happen consistently to a guy who you know is better than what he's putting out. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? So yeah, but I don't think we should take anything away from JPL. He earned that fight. He took it to the ground, and he was working on the ground, something that I always love to see. I hate when people take it to the ground and then kind of just rack up control time and really don't do anything. He was landing bombs on the ground. And I think that sense of urgency and, you know, what he's done in his past couple of fights, I think the sky is the limit for this kid. Not kid, he's 4 years older than us, but this prospect, if you would like to say that. But yeah, I think the sky's the limit for him. I mean, we're really impressed. And we talked about his family. No Laboznayani trained Royce Gracie. So it's in his blood. He has MMA in his blood. And I think he really showed it on Saturday night.
This guy thinks he's Dana White, calling everyone kid. Tyler said he has everything except heart and grit. I'd say instead of heart and grit, I'd say he just doesn't have urgency. Like, I think that's his biggest flaw.
But I think it'll come. I think it'll come with, you know, having these type of fights. And I mean, he's still a pretty young prospect in MMA. I mean, how many fights does he have? 11? 12, I think.
I think they're gonna cut Phil Rowe. Like, I think this is it. Like,
oh yeah, I mean, dude, how many times can this keep happening? Unless you really just want to have him be a gatekeeper, but he can't even be a gatekeeper if he's not really gonna fight to his ability and really test the other guy. I think he tested JPL, but not to the level of what he can actually do. So
yeah, it's just you keep dropping these kind of performances, and it gets sketchy. I could see the UFC not really rushing JPL though. Maybe give him someone like an Oban Elliott, like a mid-tier test before they jump him into the next level. If they go straight to the next level, it's a little spicy, but it's definitely doable. So it's kind of up to the UFC with how they want to do things. I think he could use a slow cook though. It's clear that he's got the talent. It's clear that he's good. I think we're waiting on a highlight reel moment for him. Besides the Contender Series knockout, we're waiting for a UFC highlight reel moment, which he's very capable of getting. So yeah, give me John Paul Laboznayani versus Oban Elliott next. I think that'd be a fantastic matchup.
That'd be a great fight.
I think it's got to be next.
Yeah, no, I like that. I was thinking someone else, but no, I'm gonna scratch that. I think that's a better fight, and it'd be a good fight for Oban to kind of get off the skid too. That he's on. Again, Oban's talented. I mean, that's kind of another guy who, like Phil Rowe, it's a little frustrating because he has the ability to do it. And when he makes those mental lapses and gets caught in things, just like in the Michaela fight, it's frustrating. It's very frustrating to watch. But yeah, no, I think that'd be a very good test for JPL and a good chance for Oban to show that he's still that guy.
All right, Ramiz Brahimaj, Punahele Soriano.
Puna, so inspirational.
This fight was basically a live demo of Fight IQ getting exposed. Round one, Brahimaj actually looked pretty sharp, like way sharper than I thought. You know, he's touching Puna up with clean shots. For a second, you're thinking, oh, okay, Ramiz might actually be leveling up on the feet. And then we get to round two, and he just forgets everything that was working. He goes into that mode where it's like, oh, I'm a grappler. I have to grapple.
Yeah, panic grapple.
Yeah, just takedown attempts, clinch attempts, just completely forcing it. And the problem is Puna's takedown defense held up. And not only did it hold up, Puna starts flipping positions, making Brahimaj pay for even trying to do that to him. And it gets worse in round 3 because Brahimaj eats a nasty kick up top. He gets rocked. And at that point, his brain is just, now I feel like, Chris, this is where he's thinking, okay, panic shooting.
Yep.
I have to get the takedown. But he's not even getting anything meaningful. Like, no damage, no real threat of the sub, just desperation grappling while Puna is the one landing the cleaner, more impactful stuff and ending the fight on top. So Brahimaj, he tried really hard, but he lost the actual fight. For Puna, this is a good win. People definitely forget that he's dangerous, and when he's locked in physically, he can absolutely bully people. He's not exactly a project for the UFC where it's like, oh, we got to push this guy to the moon. But he is a legit problem for a lot of welterweights. Tyler says, Ramiz made me angry. He definitely made me angry too. I had US currency on Ramiz, but hey, it didn't work out.
Ramiz made me happy. Puna made me happy.
Yeah, I guess so. I was on the flip side of it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I was really scared that they were going to give Ramiz the second round. I feel like that was a toss-up round. But, I mean, because Ramiz did control, I think, like the first minute and a half of that round. And then, like you said, Puna started flipping positions and really just working it. I think the best thing he did was moving down from 185 to 170. I think that's really benefited him. And you could see it. He looks huge in there. He looks massive. And he throws haymakers, too. I mean, the head kick, it was meant to be a head kick, but then it turned into a knee because Brahimaj shot in the middle of it. But yeah, those shots were nasty. And then on the feet, when he realized, I was super impressed with how Puna didn't just go for broke. He made a calculated decision to just stay calm, stay composed, and find his shots. Because sometimes when you realize the guy's rocked, obviously I can't speak from experience, but from what I've seen in the octagon, it feels like it might be easy to kind of just go gung-ho at the guy when you have him on the ropes and you just want to get him out of there. But Puna really just sat down and picked his shots, and I think that did so much more damage than if he just would have went for it, because Ramiz is still dangerous, especially in that panic mode where he's like, I'm just going to stand here and swing. If I get knocked out, I get knocked out. You leave yourself open to getting clipped, and Ramiz is a guy who can do that to you. But yeah, I was super impressed with Puna. I think that we finally are seeing that D3 All-American wrestling background that he's had. It's not just, the crazy knockouts anymore. He's putting it all together, and I really think he's becoming a pretty formidable force, and I think he could do well in this 170. Someone that I was thinking he should fight. What are you thinking about D-Rod?
I think that was actually my pick.
Really? All right, perfect. Shrikar and I did not talk about any of this before, so we're just on the same wavelength. You guys know. But yeah, I think D-Rod would be a really good test for him. I think, it'd be a good fight. D-Rod's great on the feet, grappling too. He's not a scrub. But yeah, I think that if he gets that win under his belt, that'll be a great notch in Puna's cap, or a great feather in his cap, and I think that he could start finding his way into the rankings. But yeah, great fight overall for Ramiz. Not really sure where he could go from here. I'm not obviously out on him. I still think that he's a good fighter, and what we've seen in the past couple of fights, I mean, obviously he's proved that to everyone. But as I'm looking at Tapology right now, let's see who we could
Yeah, I guess with Ramiz, guys, he will be back. Ramiz is good.
Yeah.
I haven't lost really a ton of stock in him. Obviously, I think it was more of just him being stupid in this fight, costing himself in that way. But yeah, Puna has adjusted really, really well to the weight class, as Chris said. He should have been at welterweight the entire time. He just looks way better.
Might have a good fight for Ramiz. Jeremiah Wells.
Yeah, I think that's good. I was thinking something along the lines of give him a veteran name where, it's not an immediate nightmare. I think Jeremiah Wells definitely fits that category. I agree with Daniel Rodriguez for Puna. I think it's about time he gets his shot at the rankings, and I think D-Rod is a fun fight. It is a real test for him. I was thinking something like Jake Matthews for Ramiz Brahimaj. But yeah, I think Ramiz, again, he didn't lose because he sucks. He lost because he abandoned what was working and forced the complete wrong game, which ultimately cost him in the end. We're going to move on here. Women's bantamweight. Nora Cornell and Jocelyn Edwards. John was alluding to this earlier in the stream. We're going to talk about it now. First off, if you told me someone would have, that weird late career surge, as of recent times, and again, I never would have thought this would happen, but Jocelyn Edwards would not have been my guess. I mean, truly incredible the way she has turned around her career. She was actually losing this fight for stretches. Like, I think early on, before she hit that slam, she was pretty much losing. But as we mentioned, that slam was gorgeous. And the second she saw Cornell wasn't fully there, she jumped on the choke immediately. I mean, that is awareness. That is killer instinct. You cannot hesitate in moments like that. And she didn't. I think it was a fantastic performance, again, for Jocelyn Edwards.
I agree. She's won her last 4 fights by finish.
Yep.
In women's MMA, that is beyond impressive. That is beyond impressive. Yeah, she's a dog, man. I mean, like you said, great awareness too. Because I mean, it could have been ruled a TKO. I know some people had her to win by knockout. It was
I did, but thankfully I placed another bet on Edwards by finish, so covered some of the losses. But we got
that was brutal. But yeah, great awareness from her because sometimes you just can't let someone rest, especially when they're compromised. I feel really bad for Nora Cornell, though. I really hope she's going to be okay. That was brutal. She was in treacherous amounts of pain, and I could only imagine how that feels. So prayers up to Nora. Hopefully she gets has a good recovery. But yeah, Edwards, I think it's time. I think she should fight. I think she should fight Raquel Pennington.
Okay.
So
where is Pennington ranked right now?
Believe she's 2.
Wow, that is a huge shot up.
Yeah, I think it's time for her because Nora Dumont is fighting Yana Santos. I don't
keep in mind Jocelyn Edwards right now, and she will go up after this. Jocelyn Edwards right now is the 14th ranked contender.
Yeah, I think she should fight Raquel Pennington. Look, the clock is ticking on her career. She's winning every fight by finish. Shoot her up. I like it.
How old is Jocelyn Edwards? She is... I mean, she's 30 years old. The clock is not ticking on her career.
I guess, but I feel like women's MMA kind of gets a little feeble sometimes.
I don't know. I wasn't even looking inside the top 5 just yet. I think it's going to be a slower ascent for her. I was thinking Macy Chasson. I think that is a clean ranked versus prospect matchup. I think it makes all the sense in the world. I still consider Jocelyn Edwards a prospect, in my opinion. Obviously, our definitions kind of fluctuate, but
yeah. You know what's crazy? Tapology has her as the 6th ranked bantamweight in the world.
Let's see who's above her. Kayla, Juliana Pena, Raquel Pennington, Norma Dumont, Ketlin Vieira, Yana Santos, Irene Aldana. So those are the top 6. I just think it's too early for a top 5. Like I really appreciate the resurgence that she's had. To go from fighting the 12th ranked contender to the 2nd, and she doesn't have like a massive hype train behind her. Like she's getting good wins, but is she a person that I think the UFC will strap a rocket to her back and send her flying up to fight Kayla? And
I don't know, bro. These last 2 wins were crazy.
That's
going to be must-see TV in women's MMA.
I totally get it. but I want to see her do it against someone just outside that top 5 first. And I think Macy is perfect just because she is a durable fighter. Like
That is true.
I think that there is a test to be had there. John says, not that it made a difference to the result, but were some of Edwards' punches to the back of Cornell's head? I'll rewatch it. It looked pretty clean to me.
Could be 50-50. Behind the ear and back of the head, like that always gets me because it looks like it's on the back of the head, but I guess technically it's behind the ear. So
Yeah.
My answer is potentially.
From what I saw, it definitely did kind of look clean, but I'll go back and rewatch it now that you brought it up. I definitely want to investigate that. But Jocelyn Edwards gets it done. And for Nora Cornell, as you mentioned, Chris, man, who even knows? Like,
Yeah. No, that's bad.
That injury looked nasty. If she comes back, it'll be a long time. UFC might toss her something with a big name involved, late. I think if Bia Mesquita works her way up, that could be a possibility. By the time she enters the rankings, Nora Cornell will probably still be there. And God willing, that surgery goes well. Hopefully everything goes well for Nora Cornell. But first priority, obviously, is just heal, see what the damage actually is, and hopefully things go okay in the recovery process. But brutal finish from Jocelyn Edwards. The only finish on the prelims. Did not get a performance bonus, but she did get the finish bonus, $25K. Moving on here. Alden Correa pretty much dismantles Luis Gurul. I mean, I'll put it this way. I think Alden Correa looks like a legit addition to 125. We saw it in the Alessandro Costa fight, and I think this just affirmed it that much more. I mean, his striking is just absolutely smooth. He's smooth everywhere. No wasted motion. He's now beaten 2 guys who are definitely way better than what their record suggests. I think Alessandro Costa is a great name, and I also think Luis Gurul is a great name for what it's worth. These are 2 good, wins on your record. Gurul is not good. I think he is. He's just been fed to literal, like, besides Odie Osborne, which, it is what it is. I think he's had some tough matchups. But you can feel the push coming for Alden Correa, especially being that close to the champion in this division. I think they're going to make a strong push for Alden. But with that being said, as much as I've kind of talked up Gurul a little bit, this might be it. And it sucks because he looked sharp on Contender Series, but I think when you look at the chin issues, the decision making, the level of competition, it just caught up to him, man. 0-3 is a tough hole to climb out of. So yeah, I think it's going to be wraps for Luis Gurul in the UFC. I think they'll let him go. But for Alden Correa, I think big things are definitely coming for him.
Agreed. I want to see him fight Ramazan Temirov.
Okay.
I really like that. 2 guys that are just on the outside of the. I think Corey is just on the outside of the rankings right now. I'm impressed.
Yeah.
I think the Costa fight was impressive, and I think this absolute dismantling of Luis Gurul raised his stock even higher than it was before. So yeah, I think Temirov versus Correa, winner gets a rank shot. Make it happen. 2 guys that are 2-0 in the UFC. Temirov's pretty formidable guy. He's a very good grappler. He can mix it up well. I think that's exactly what Correa can bring to the table as well. So yeah, set that up. And I really like the winner to get a rank shot in flyweight.
Yeah, I'm scrolling through Tapology right now. So Korea's at 26. Let me see where they have.
I think Temirov's 18.
Okay, that's not bad. Wow, Lucas Hosha is at 44. That is crazy low. Crazy low.
Could have him fight Jose Ochoa.
That could be a good one too. I think I could see them giving him another, prospect level test or, a guy who's a step up. He feels like, honestly, he's 2 fights away from the ranking. I think what kind of goes into this too is he needs another finish. If he got a highlight reel finish over Garul, I think that would have helped the UFC in fast tracking him. But since it's a decision, they'll probably slow play it slightly. But Temirov is a good matchup. I think that's fair. I think that's a good one for him. For Garul, again, 0-3. They're going to serve him as walking papers. Hate to say it, but it's usually how it goes. But yeah, Alden Correa gets it done. All right, Odie Osborne and Alibi Idris. I believe every single one of us took Odie Osborne on the podcast.
Sadly.
He just can't wrestle. He can't. He can't wrestle. This has been the story of Odie Osborne his whole career. He can't wrestle. Odie had moments. I will give him that. He landed some clean shots. He had a few good looks in transitions. He even started touching the body a bit in round 2. But every time he starts finding a rhythm, Idris is like, all right, I'm just going to shoot. And I'm going to get it. Right?
Time.
Like Idris pressures. And it's not even like Odie is getting chain wrestled into oblivion. And, it's not like Idris put on a technical masterpiece. It's more like, Odie just kind of falls over once you put hands on him. It's pretty embarrassing. Idris pressures, gets him down, stays on top, does enough, wins rounds, just clean, straightforward, effective win. Nothing flashy. It's just kind of Idris saying, I'm better at MMA than you. Pretty simple as that. Idris looked decent. Yeah, he looked decent. But I think it's more of how Odie Osborne has been considerably bad.
It's so annoying, man. He has so much talent. And it just, he's like 1-5 in his last 6. I don't know. That was frustrating. Alibi did exactly what I thought he could do, though. I said he was a good wrestler, and clearly he went in there and tried to make that his focal point. But he did have some hands too. He was landing some great shots on O'Day, and he was making him kind of rethink how he would be able to get in the pocket. And Alibi, he was just better everywhere. He really was. Great inside trips. He was really working the clinch positions, the trips, and then just an absolute fire blanket on top. I'm impressed. I think that was a good bounce back from his loss against Joseph Morales in the Ultimate Fighter finale. But yeah, I feel like it's just time to have that conversation with Odie Osborne. He might be bad. He might just not be good. Yeah, they might have to cut him. I mean, I don't think they'd cut him because he is fun. If you just give him striker matchups, he's always going to be a fun guy to have in those matchups. But in the matchups that actually count, he's just keeps proving that he can't get it done. But yeah, I'm good for Alibi. I think that's a great win to get back, especially because probably should have beat Joseph Morales, but I think he was just a little bit too egotistical in that fight, if you want to put it like that. This one was just a much more calculated approach against a dangerous guy at flyweight, and he showed he's an all-around fighter. These Kazakhstanis, man, they're dangerous. They're good at you at MMA. All of them. They're all good. Except for what's his name?
DR Nurgojai.
Yes. Thank you. How did you know I was gonna say him? I was like, there's one guy.
Yo, I was thinking of who's the one Kazakh that is trash? And I was like, all right, DR Nurgojai.
Yeah, not good. He's like, it's almost a disgrace to the Kazakhstani MMA regime.
Oh man.
Yeah, no, all right. Thank you. I was thinking, I'm like, because who did he fight? He fought last year, and I forgot the guy he fought, but his other guy's name was... Yes.
Yeah, on the China card.
I just remember they were very long names that I was gonna butcher if I tried to even say it. But yeah, Nurgojai, man. Yeah, good win from Alibi though. Happy that he got back on the mend. And I think he's gonna be dangerous in this division.
And in honor of Dr. Nurgojai, I'll hit one of these. I think for Idris, the hard part is matchmaking because flyweight is in a weird spot. They might give him another name or they might just keep him in the prospect pool. I was thinking someone like a Matt Schnell, if they want that, could work, or another developing flyweight to test him. But I like Matt Schnell versus Alibi Idris. I think that would work. And for Odie, you mentioned it, Chris. We kind of just know what he is at this point. He's fun. He's dangerous in moments. He's been a company guy. He takes the short notice fights, and maybe that'll help his standing with the company. But he's just not going to win consistent, hard decisions against guys that are well-rounded. And in this case, he definitely met his match. So we'll take the L on that one. We all took Odie Osborne. We thought it was good money at plus money. We were all wrong. But definitely a strong second appearance from Alibi Idris in the UFC, bouncing back off the Joseph Morales loss. Let's get into the fight of the night, which I'm surprised they didn't give out a fight of the night bonus for this one. Chidi Njokuani and Carlos Leal, this was the fight of the night. And I have no idea how Chidi stayed upright after shots. And Leal just kept walking through knees and counters like a madman.
He's a cyborg. I'm convinced. He's not real.
mean, look at the significant strikes. That is nearly 300 significant strikes total between the two of them. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. I thought Leal clearly edged this fight, and I'm glad the judges saw it the same way. But this was an absolute war.
Yeah, this was a clear 30-27 for Leal. I did any of the judges give Chidi?
They gave him a 29-28. Or they gave Leal
one Junichiro Kamijo had it 30-27. I agree with that. I wouldn't even give him the last round, if I'm being completely honest. I think Leal was just absolute nails from start to finish. He's dangerous, man. He's dangerous. And especially after his last fight against Salikov, good bounce back. You really couldn't ask for a better performance than that. And, you could say, oh, he could have got the knockout, but Chidi, I don't know how he stayed up. I really don't. Maybe it was because he was at home in Texas and he just wanted to put on for the home crowd, but, Chidi only threw low kicks. Yeah, I mean, he was working it too. That's what I think that was a really big path to victory for him. But he just got started too late. He let Leal get on the gas right away, and when a guy like that with finishing instincts like that and a striking ability that Leal has, if you just give him an inch, he's going to take a mile. So, and that's exactly what he did. But yeah, very impressed from both of them. Honestly, I think it was a very fun scrap, and I think we knew that coming in, and it definitely lived up to it.
Carlos Leal looks like Luis J. Gomez. Yeah, he looks like a roided version of Luis J. Gomez for sure. A smart moron. Welcome to the chat, man. I like that name, by the way.
Am I gonna embarrass myself by saying who is Luis J. Gomez?
He's a comedian.
All right, let me look him up. I've never heard of him.
Pretty sure he's a New York comedian, if I'm not wrong. So this is your territory, my boy.
Oh yeah, what? I've never seen him. I'm gonna watch that after this. He kind of does. He does look like a roided up version of him.
He definitely does. I think the matchmaking is very, very easy for me, at least. I know people are going to disagree with me. For some weird reason, I want to see Carlos Leal versus Yaroslav Amosov. I don't know why.
Interesting. Oh, two PFL guys. That'd be fun.
Yeah. And two guys who just do not stop walking forward. Yaroslav Amosov is definitely a pressure fighter in his own right. I think it'll be a violent one. It'll be an entertaining fight. Both guys are going to bleed. I think you make that happen. For Chidi, he's kind of in an awkward lane where it's like, where does he go? He's 37, 2 straight losses after a nice streak. I mean, the UFC might keep him around because he's an action fighter and he always brings it. The matchups will probably be tough. Maybe another veteran, maybe a prospect they want to test. It's hard to call on my end. I don't really know if you had any ideas, But
I like the Yaroslav Amazov fight for Leal. Chidi, yeah, it just feels like he's not in no man's land, but these last two fights were kind of rough for him. The submission from Jake Matthews, and then this fight. Yeah, I guess like maybe do you make him somewhat of a gatekeeper or just put him in fun fights?
I mean, he kind of already is assuming that gatekeeper role as it is.
Yeah,
170 has so many gatekeepers. You know,
I know that's what I'm saying. It feels hard.
Leal does have good boxing.
Shitty versus Jack Hermanson.
I think it's a good one. I think it's possible. Let me look through Tapology real quick. Let me go 170. Bless you. I don't know. Nicholas Dalby could be a good fight for Carlos Leal as well. But for Chidi, I really don't know. Leal and Amosov are right next to each other in the rankings. I honestly don't know. At 37, I mean, what more? Maybe
that's what I'm saying. I feel like Hermanson, dude, it's just battle of the unks. I like it.
I think Basil Hafez could be a good matchup for Chidi at this point in time. You know,
Chaos Williams, have they fought?
Chaos Williams could be a good one. You want to put Chidi in a fun fight, and I think any of those guys will bring the action. Jack Hermanson could be a good one too. We'll see if he leans on the grappling this time. I still can't believe Muslim Salikov knocked him out. Yeah, that's just the risky play. That's a risky run when you pressure as much as Carlos Leal does. You're eventually going to get caught, and Salikov was the one to catch him clean. But Carlos Leal gets it done in what we think is the fight of the night. Moving on to the main card now. If you're in here, make sure you like up the stream. Make sure you subscribe if you're new. Follow the socials down below. Let's cover this main card. This is where the action kind of started turning up.
Demolidor.
Michel Pereira beat Zach Reese. All right, I'm just going to say it. I thought Zach Reese won that fight. Now, chat, you can argue with me if you want, but I'll break it down round by round for you guys because I rewatched it today as well. Round one, all right, Pereira drops Reese early in the fight.
Which didn't count, by the way. None of those knockdowns counted statistically.
Yeah, but we saw it. Pereira dropped Reese. Fair, big moment. But after that, Reese kind of takes over the rest of the round. He's landing better volume, better positioning, staying composed. If you want to argue that the knockdown means it's an automatic round for Pereira, okay, fine. I'm not going to get in your way. So let's assume Pereira gets round one. Round two, Reese had some serious moments. Clean body kicks, striking from very awkward angles. Pereira's face is getting busted up. Reese is pressing. Pereira's having to reset constantly. I mean, that felt like a Reese round. Round three, I got the same exact vibe from it as I did in round two. Reese is pushing forward. He's landing the cleaner work. He's backing Pereira up. I had a 2-1 Reese. All right. I think he took 2 and 3. Instead, the judges go Pereira. Now, let's talk about the weird stuff. There were a couple pauses in this fight for low blows that didn't really look like low blows. Really just kind of hit the belt line or the inner thigh. Pereira looked tired in that first round itself and then got extra time to recover. Then Reese, has a legit eye poke moment later. I mean, the fight had that messy kind of. I got bad vibes as soon as that happened because when the ref intervenes as much as the ref does, you just get a bad vibe about a fight that's not going to go your way. The fight just never felt clean. It never did for me.
Yeah, I could see how people could think Zach Reese won. Personally, I thought Pereira took 1 and 2. I mean, he also dropped him in 2 in the second round. So he dropped him in the first half of the round. Reese came on later in the second half of the round. I am one of the people that Shrikar was alluding to, that I feel like a knockdown is almost, barring anything crazy, should be a pretty solid round win. I feel like that's probably that's the most damage you could do, other than finishing the fight. But yeah, it was definitely close. I think it was worthy of a split decision. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, Pereira definitely won. Nah, it was close. Second round was definitely close. I think that's why judging is just so hard, because, yeah, you could have the criteria and everything that you really need to look at, but it's all objective. I always use that wrong. Objective, subjective. Subjective.
Subjective means opinionated, and objective is the opposite.
Yeah, it's subjective. Dude, I went to Syracuse for communications, bro. I should know this. I always mix it up. Like that's bad. It was If anyone's watching this from Newhouse, I'm sorry. I'm not an idiot. Only sometimes. But it's all subjective. That's all judging is. It's all opinionated. So, I think that's what makes MMA, if I'm being completely honest. I mean, if you just had it to the T and you let analytics and just straight statistics be the judge, it doesn't always tell the story. Because yeah, you could land more punches, but were they really as damaging as the less punches thrown? I'm speaking so weird right now. I'd like,
But even with that, I disagree, because even with the knockdown, I still feel like Reese did more damage in the round itself.
I guess, but I mean, I'm on the side of like a knockdown, unless you get knocked down, should be almost an automatic win. I feel like that's the most damage you could do. I mean, you took him off his feet. And they weren't like, oh, okay, he knocked him down, he stumbled, and then he went to a knee. Like, he got dropped. First round, he definitely got dropped. I'm just so confused at how none of those knockdowns counted as a statistic. Not that the refs could see the statistics. Also, that's another thing. It's like, it's the visual aspect. I mean, he visually looked like he got dropped.
Well, I think I could see why they wouldn't count the one in the second round. I think the first round, that was a knockdown.
Yeah, I was confused. But yeah, it's also a visual. You have to think about the visual aspect of, all right, it looked like he got dropped. Reese was also leaking too. So, I mean, if you take in actual, bodily. I mean,
Pereira's face was not a pretty sight.
Oh yeah, no, it wasn't pretty either. I mean, Reese was leaking. Pereira, his face got slightly reconstructed too. But I don't know. I don't think it was a bad decision. I think it was worthy of a split. Maybe I'm saying that because I had Pereira, but at the same time, I feel like the knockdown should be valued pretty heavily. But good fight though. I thought it was solid. It was fun, other than the low blows. The inner
all our breaks in action.
Say it again.
Other than all our breaks in action.
Yeah, the inner thigh one was crazy. I was like trying to play devil's advocate and be like, did a toe maybe clip his cup? And the only reason I thought that it could have potentially been a low blow was because Zach Reese, as soon as it happened, he kind of acknowledged it and was like, sorry. The second one, it like partially may have grazed it, but I don't know. I don't think that should have warranted a stoppage. It did feel like Pereira was kind of looking for a way out, if I'm being completely honest. And for a guy like Zach Reese, who has had no contest before, referencing the Dumas fight, I don't know, Pereira went in with a preconceived motive of, all right, if this happens, I'm gonna milk it. But yeah, I mean, other than the breaks in action, it was fun.
Michel Pereira went from a huge win streak and almost knocking out Fluffy to going decision with Reese. I mean, Zach Reese, give Zach
guy.
No, I think the end of the second round from Zach Reese was the best I've ever seen Zach Reese. And that's really saying something. Like, I think this fight definitely made me a Zach Reese fan. Pereira finally didn't gas. He did gas. He did. His cardio did not look any better than it was before. And that's why he had to take so many breaks. In the first round itself, he looked tired. So in my opinion, he gassed. But
Big Demolidor.
in terms of the matchmaking, honestly, I really don't know how this has not happened already. I want to see Michelle Pereira versus Shara Magomedov.
That'd be so fun.
I mean, that is a fight that just has to happen. Like,
yeah, that would be awesome.
If Pereira can make the quick turnaround, I would put that on the Macau card. I think that'd be great. If not, if they're going to the Middle East in the summer, I think you can do that there as well. Shara will have the home crowd. In terms of the styles, in terms of how entertaining this fight would be, this matchup belongs on an international stage, in my opinion. I don't think Shara can have any fights in the U.S., so it has to be overseas. But the striking would be so wild. It would be such a chaotic fight. Someone would get their bell rung for sure. It looked better than against Abus. But I think the Abus fight was a little, I guess, but I don't know. It didn't seem like anything really changed for me. I've been asking for that fight for so long. Yeah, I really don't know how they haven't done Pereira and Shara yet. But I think it just has to happen for sure. For Reese, I think it's a tough spot. Like he doesn't have a lot of hype, so I think a close loss like this doesn't help his case. I mean, the UFC could easily just throw him into another rough matchup. But again, I walked away from this fight thinking he deserved better. But yeah, it's a tough spot for Zach Reese.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I love the Pereira Shara Bullet fight. I think that would be fireworks.
Yeah.
Very good clash of styles too. For Zach Reese, I was thinking someone like Ismail Nardiev. I think that would be a good fight. Another guy that likes to scrap in Nardiev, and Reese, who he's a tough customer. We've seen it. I think that he could have a path to victory in that too. He could expose the grappling of Nardiev, just kind of like how Jun Young Park did. But yeah, I like that because it's not too far down, and it kind of gives both of those guys a chance to rebound. So yeah, I like that for both of them.
Alrighty, moving right along. Our first performance bonus of the night.
That was so bad.
Yeah, Josiah Harrell got absolutely slimed out. A brutal finish from Jacoby Smith. The takedown in the middle of the round was so slick. The roll through Harrell's attempt was even slicker. Once he got top position, I mean, vicious strikes. You do feel for Harrell considering everything he's been through to get to this point. But Smith did exactly what he's supposed to do. And honestly, that moment with the ref, Kerry Hatley, is ridiculous. Because Jacoby's job is to keep going until he is physically stopped. That is the rule. If the ref wants it over, he's got to jump in and shut it down, not talk his way through it. I think Smith did his job.
Yep.
Period. But again, very, very brutal finish from Jacoby.
Yeah, it felt like super necessary punches.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm joking. Every time that happens, I just always got to reference Masvidal. Those were super necessary punches. Were they really necessary? Absolutely not. But yeah, me and Trigar were talking about it. It's like, all right, is it Smith's fault to have the awareness that, yo, what's up, bro? How you doing, bro?
Yo, what's up, bro? We are here.
Yeah, but is it Smith's fault? Partially, not much though. I would say maybe 20%. But the fighters are taught to keep fighting until you're pulled off. That's the whole point of, the intervention of the ref. I don't know what Kerry Hatley was looking at, but that was bad. And Josiah Harrell was visibly messed up. It was hard to watch him try and get back on the stool and just him laying there unconscious. But yeah, Jacoby Smith is legit. This guy he is a problem, to say the least. I mean, the wrestling, the striking, he has it all. He is the complete package.
Yeah, if we want to go down the matchmaking route, obviously in the post-fight interview, which we had a lot of great post-fight call-outs and interviews, by the way. Late stoppage, but Smith kept hitting even when the ref pushed him off. But did he really push him off, though? I think that's my question. I don't think Kerry Hatley did enough to actually intervene and stop the fight. But your mileage may vary. Bro was knocked. Yeah, he was knocked. Jacoby Smith called out Kevin Holland.
That would be awesome.
This is the one. This is the one, guys. No matter what happens between Kevin Holland and Randy Brown, which I believe is Kevin's next fight, please set up Jacoby Smith and Kevin Holland. Holland is the ultimate gatekeeper at this point. Very dangerous fighter. He's got the experience. He's unpredictable. If Smith gets through Kevin Holland, we are having a serious conversation. Very, very serious conversations about Jacoby Smith. And if Holland wins, he defends his turf again. Either way, I think it works. For Josiah Harrell, I'm going to offer up a weight class change, moving him down to lightweight. I think he looked a little undersized at 170, and I don't know whether that's because Jacoby Smith is, big for the weight class, but Josiah looked very small in the octagon. I would move down to 155. I think something's got to change.
Agreed.
But I think that should be what's next for him. But the ref made contact with Smith. That should have been the sign for him to stop. I don't think contact is enough, though, because the contact, you could think that's from Josiah Harrell, and you're still going, you got to move him out of the way. I don't know. Again, it's what you perceive of it, but I think Jacoby was literally just doing what a fighter is supposed to do. And that's just to keep going until you are stopped. And he did that. Yeah,
I agree. That was just tough. That was just a bad look. I like Josiah Harrell moving down to 155. He is a little bit small for welterweight, to say the least. A lot of it small. Jacoby Smith, if he doesn't fight Kevin Holland and he wants a quick turnaround, have him fight Joel Alvarez. I think that would be a sick fight.
That would be crazy. But my question is, do they want to match up Jacoby and Joel Alvarez right now when they're high on, both guys?
Probably not. Maybe I'm just saying that because that's almost like a dream fight.
It is. It is. I get that for sure.
Yeah, but dude, oh my God. Joel Alvarez versus Jacoby Smith would be sick. I think that would actually be awesome. And then I think that would be obviously Joel Alvarez. He was at 155 in the rankings, moved up to welterweight. Hasn't found his way back into the rankings in welterweight. Welterweight's loaded, so it makes sense. And maybe they're just saving him for a high-profile fight, which I would be okay with. I could even see Joel Alvarez in a main event, even though he's not ranked. I think that he has shown the skills to warrant that type of treatment from the UFC. I mean, he's 8-2 in the UFC. He's only lost to Arman and who else has he lost to? Ismagulov, which is
Tamir Ismagulov. Wow.
Yeah, which obviously he is not in the UFC right now, but Ismagulov's still pretty good. I mean, and that was early in his career, so give him some leeway on that. And then he's lost to the best at lightweight. But yeah, I feel like that's a chance for, obviously that's a big shot for Jacoby Smith, but also for Joe Alvarez to kind of show the UFC, hey, what's taking so long? You got to give me high profile fights. Yeah, but I guess that is on the dream fight side, but man, would I love to see that scrap.
So I'll pose this question, and sometimes we talk about this, when short notice guys are brought in. If this was, as it was originally posted, if this was Jacoby Smith versus Suk Young Ko, would you have still taken Jacoby? Knowing what you know now. And I know it's kind of a pointless question to ask, but
yes.
Do you think this version of Jacoby would have beat Suk Young Ko?
Yes. I think he is super legit.
I tend to agree. Just because I think Jacoby Smith had to fight a perfect fight to beat Suk Young Ko.
Yep.
And he fought damn near a perfect fight. Like, I can't argue against that. Albeit against Josiah Harrell on short notice, but we move. Sergey Spivak versus Ante Delia. Spivak gets it done. by decision in
Polar bear.
it was pretty much a stinker of a fight. I think this one was closer than the 30-27 card suggests.
Yeah, I did not see 30-27. I think that was wild.
Yeah. I mean, round one, Spivak actually outboxed Delia with the jab. Definitely, a clean jab. It was very efficient. Definitely busted him up in round one. That's not the Spivak people expect. Round two, Delia's round. All right. He kind of blitzes forward. He lands those heavy shots. He forces Spivak into survival mode a bit. I think that was a clear Delia round. I do not see how they could have gave that to Spivak. Round three, both guys are definitely tired. Spivak presses more, gets a takedown, lands late in the fight. I edged it to Spivak. So yeah, 29-28 Spivak makes sense, but I think 30-27 is heinous. I don't think that was the right scorecard at all.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I was very surprised when I heard that, but props to Sergey. I mean, Deli he's a tough guy and he throws bombs, and he made me eat Spivak made me eat my words. I came out here and said, "Oh, he's a terrible striker." That jab was pretty nice. He was landing. He was not scared to stand there with Ante Delia. I swear Delia could have won if he didn't swing so hard, but Spivak looked improved. I agree. I think Delia needed to be more calculated. But that's what you get with heavyweight MMA. It's so sloppy sometimes. But yeah, I think Spivak definitely did a good job. I even said to Shriek before the fight that I was really scared for Delia because the line just did not make sense. I mean, everyone and their mother was betting Delia, and Spivak was almost even at close. And I was like, that's not good. That is not good. But yeah, I mean, props to Sergey. I mean, he's fought a lot of good guys. Delia, I put Delia in that category as well. Now, obviously, it's like, where do you really want to send him from here? I don't know if I don't know if I could really ship him up that high, but at the same time, he's almost kind of deserved it. You know who it would have been such a good rematch, but he's not in the UFC anymore.
Gallatin.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have wanted to see a rematch that quick.
Oh, Jonathan Almeida, man. That's actually hilarious.
Yeah, go watch our Jonathan Almeida video if you
haven't. Go watch the Jonathan Almeida video.
Might be the last time we speak on Jonathan Almeida before unless he comes back to the UFC. But
yeah. But who is someone that he has not fought in his 15 fights in the UFC, which is very interesting. And I matchmade him with I forgot who I matchmade him with, but Curtis Blades.
Yeah, I was about to say
Spivak's pretty much fought everyone in the top 10 of heavyweight. So one guy to check, one more guy on the list. I think that's the only reasonable thing that you set up, if I'm being completely honest. And then Delia, I mean, I don't think the class is out on him. I'm certainly not, but set him up with Derek Lewis, bro. Set him up with Derek Lewis.
I agree with Ante. I think Ante and Derek is going to happen. Almeida joint Kadyrov.
No way.
I'll offer up a different matchup for Spivak. I think Blades could be good. Again, Spivak, low-key, rebuilding himself here. Not in the title picture or anything, but he's stacking momentum again, and that matters at heavyweight. How about we give Sergey Spivak Rizvan freaking Kuniev?
Rizvan. I like it.
I mean, Kuniev just cracked the top 10. This is fresh blood, something to prove. This is one of those fights where it's like we get to see who actually belongs in the mix. No fluff, no hype machine. Just two big ass dudes just trying to climb.
Who also are pretty similar in style.
Yeah, I would say so. So I let those two sort it out in the octagon. I think that would be a good matchup.
I like it.
But yeah, Delia's in that. Delia's in that.
Rizwan Kuniev, bro.
I think Deli is in that awkward spot where it's like he's ranked, but I don't know. He's kind of skating on thin ice at this point. He'll get something tough next. I like the Derek Lewis matchup. I mean, heavyweight matchmaking is just kind of cooked at this point. So
It feels like they just draw out of a hat.
I mean, they gave Rizwan Kuniev Curtis Blades in his debut, so it wouldn't really shock me if they were. Just my 2 cents, but
dude, poor Delia, man. The Aspinall camp is just taking L's left and right now. It's a brutal look over there.
Yeah, it is what it is. But if Aspinall ever gets back in that octagon, I will be in full support. I will be in full support.
But here's a guy that is insane, bro.
Chris Collinsworth instead of Chris Schroyer on the war room tonight. Guys, Melky Zael Costa just flatlined Dan Ige with a spinning kick. I mean, are you kidding me, bro? This guy's rise has been so fun to watch. Early on, he didn't look like some blue chip prospect, but he's definitely evolved into one of the nastiest finishers in this division. And, to do that backed up against the fence, that takes a lot of composure. It takes a lot of confidence to pull that out against a guy like Dan Ige. Melky Zael Costa, man, he is not just a fun fighter anymore. He is trending towards being a real contender at featherweight. I don't know why I bet on Ige. I'm not going to lie. I threw money on that Costa finish at plus 500. Free binks. Oh, my God, free binks.
Free bink.
I love how in the card where so many fights ended in decision, Ige didn't lose by decision. That's MMA. That's MMA, man. I don't understand either. I was stunned when he hit that spin kick, but it definitely seemed like Costa broke Ige's orbital right there. So fair enough. Fair play to Mel Costa.
21 fights in the UFC. Before that, not a single person has finished Dan Ige. Melky Costa is the only person to finish Dan Ige in the UFC, and he did it in the first round. This dude is cracked. He is cracked. It's like watching poetry in motion with him. It's just awesome. He can take the fight anywhere. He's an amazing grappler, and it feels like an even better striker. I mean, like this dude. Here's a guy that's amazing. He's awesome. Like it's like if just watching him it's must see TV now. It's must see TV. I really think he should get a main event in his next fight. I think he's earned it. I really do. And we're looking at the featherweight rankings right now. Ige was number 14. Ooh, is this guy scheduled to fight? Let me see. Sorry. I don't want to spoil it. Oh my God. Do him versus Pitbull.
Yeah, I was going to say that's exactly my matchup.
Yeah, do him versus Pitbull. I think that would be insane. He finishes Pitbull, you strap a nuke to his back and send him up into oblivion.
White Costa is a mythical fighter. Hey, Tyler, elaborate. Elaborate.
The Dalmatian, man. This
was the one post-fight call out where I was like, eh. So Melk calls out Diego Lopez.
Yeah,
which by the way, stay tuned because we got a video on Diego Lopez coming. We won't spoil what it is. He probably needs one more statement win before getting to that Lopez fight. So yeah, man, I completely agree with the Pitbull matchup. Another ranked Brazilian featherweight, the Dalmatian versus the Pitbull, the matchup of the dogs. I mean, come on, like it just sells itself. You literally have two dogs in the octagon. Someone's stock is going to be going up in a big way. It would be a violent fight. It would be a meaningful fight. McGregor versus Prade Prates.
What's up, Terrence?
What's up? Hey, what's up, man? What's up? Me and T were talking about this a little bit earlier, but if y'all have not seen the rumors, people are rumoring that Conor McGregor is going to fight Carlos Prates. Think you guys can understand, from my perspective, how I think that fight will go.
Yeah, McGregor by knockout.
Conor's going to get slimed, unfortunately, but let's hope that's not the fight. We'll see what happens. But T, welcome to the stream, my brother. But
Yes,
Melky Costa versus Patricio Pitbull is the fight to make. For Dan Ige, I don't know.
I don't know. Gatekeeper status as always.
Put the whole earth on Prates. Put the entire solar system on Carlos Prates to win that fight. Prime McGregor coming back. I don't know what to tell you, man. I don't know what to tell you. But hey, Melky Costa getting it done. I think for Dan Ige, maybe a fight against like a Joe Anderson Brito would be fun. I simply don't know from this point. It's just kind of back into that gatekeeper role for him. But let's get to our co-main. Or sorry, what do you
because Terrence's name is Slapshot Hockey. Shout out USA Hockey, man.
Yeah, I hope everyone's
got it done in Milan.
Hope everyone's playing Freebird tonight.
Dude, I was blasting it, bro, at 10 in the morning or 11. I had to crack open a beer for it, and I was reeling from last night, and I was like, dude, I have to.
Hey, there you go, man. There you go. Co-main event, Uros Medic slimes out Jeff Neal, literally knocks the snot out of him.
That was disgusting.
Yeah,
that was nasty.
USA, baby, USA. Uros gets himself ranked in the most Uros Medic way possible. He actually started a little calmer than I expected, but the second that Jeff Neal tried to match his pace, that's when Medic just flipped the switch. That snap hook was money. Put Neal on the back foot immediately. From there, it was just tight, crisp volume. He didn't rush it. He built up to that finish. And once the opening showed itself, he jumped on it. And I think that is exactly how you break into the numbered elite. So very, very great performance from Uros Medic. The biggest statement of his career to this point. For a guy that consistently finishes fights, that's definitely saying something. So great win for Uros.
Yeah, that was wildly impressive. I mean, yeah, Jeff Neal by knockout did bust the lay, but so did Fluffy by decision. So I guess we weren't really going far with that one, sadly. But yeah, I mean, dude, what a shot. Perfect temple shot. And it just goes to show, basic physics of how, sometimes landing a glancing shot like that, it's just the surface area of the shot. The smaller the surface area, the more it's going to hurt and the more damage it's going to do. And it looked like he barely hit him. He just nicked the temple and down goes Neal. Snot flies out. The doctor is in. Uros Medic, man. I mean, I was really confident in Neal too. I really thought that he was going to be able to, play the game and get inside and really bust up Uros Medic, but it didn't even come to that. I mean, Medic is just super calculated. I mean, it's just calculated chaos. It's super fun to watch too. I mean, this guy is, I know I've kind of thrown around this phrase a little bit tonight, but I mean, if he's just going to keep doing that, it's must see TV. It really is. I mean, you really want to see the fights like that. But yeah, he's now going to be number 12 in welterweight. I mean, that's super impressive for a guy that, it was a little shaky in the beginning. I mean, he's not terrible. Like, he hasn't done terrible in the UFC. His record's 7-3. He's lost to Puna, Muktabek Oralbai, and I'll scroll down. Jalen Turner. I mean, like, those are not bad losses. We're being completely honest. But yeah, I mean, it's like who should he fight next? It's a little interesting to me. I would if they can't get Buckley a fight, set that up. That would be
Buckley's fighting Brady.
Okay, all right. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Just announced, by the way. Sean Brady versus Joaquin
Oh
Buckley.
yeah, that was just announced on the broadcast. I mean, you could do Bonfim. I don't know what they're gonna do with Bonfim, but if not, it just feels wrong to say. But like, do you put him up against Leon Edwards?
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This feels so obvious. I think they're gonna do Uros and Leon. Like that. That was such a money call.
Who would have thought we would be saying Leon Edwards versus Uros Medic?
I mean, it makes sense. It definitely
makes sense. But I would never expect that. I would have never expected that.
I mean, Medic immediately called his shot. Like, I love when guys know exactly who they want next. Uros Medic probably made the absolute most of his mic time. They're going to set up that Leon Edwards fight. And that was such a good call.
I'm not going to lie. I think he clips Leon.
Oh, yeah. He's good. Yeah. He's going to clip Leon.
Dude, Rocky.
Obviously, with Leon Edwards, he is sitting in that perfect spot where it's like he's got to prove he still belongs at the top. It's a big name. It's a former champ. Definitely a stylistic test for Uros. I mean, if Medic wins that is his Carlos Prates moment. You know?
Yeah. Medic in the top 10 would be wild.
Medic probably slimes him too. He will. He
might.
This is the kind of fight that either elevates you instantly or reminds you how hard this sport really is. So I definitely want to see this happen.
Okay.
I think
all right. So now I'm going to backtrack on what I said about Jacoby Smith. Now that Jeff Neal's going to fall out of the rankings, and I completely forgot about this.
Don't do this to Jeff Neal. Don't do this to Jeff Neal, man.
Why you gotta do that to Jeff? To do it though. I think they have to fight. I mean, regardless, a lot of options for Jacoby Smith. I think they can go in a bunch of different ways with him, but I mean, that would be a good fight too.
Jeff Neal, man, that is two brutal knockouts back to back. First, the spinning elbow against Prates, and now you get slimed out in a minute by Medic. At some point, you gotta have that conversation.
Yeah, it's an auto 3 months off for him too.
That might be an auto career off for him, but I won't go that far. I'd give him someone a little less dangerous with the hands. I think if Muktabek Oralbai beats Chris Curtis, I think you can do Jeff Neal versus Muktabek Oralbai.
I think Oralbai, oh my god, yeah, but he doesn't have crazy hands. It'll just take you down and drown you, and then
I think that's better than what Jeff Neal has been going through recently. To be honest,
then maybe they need to throw him a bone.
Welterweight is such a good division, man. It's awesome. It just keeps proving itself time and again. With Uros Medic, a massive rise. I mean, this is how quickly things change in this sport. Simply put, definitely a well-earned performance bonus. Really, really great call out. I think everything is lining up to see Uros Medic and Leon Edwards. All right, let's get to our main event. If y'all are still in here, like up the stream, hop in our chat. Let us know how you felt about the main event. Socials down below. Make sure you support us any way you can. We would really appreciate it. Guys, I really don't have much to say, in all honesty. I'm kind of bummed about this, and I'll come out and say I was wrong. I will tell y'all.
Good bet, John Dong.
I'll give y'all an anecdote, though. The night before we recorded, and it's not an excuse, the night before we recorded Strickland Fluffy predictions, I was telling Chris on the phone there's something weird about this fight where I was really considering picking Strickland on the pod just because it was kind of a game of would I rather bet Hernandez at minus 300 or Strickland at plus 200. And John said, I'm so glad I bet on Strickland. If you guys bet on Strickland, good. You know, I think that was where the value definitely resided. I was going to bet Strickland, but I'm stubborn. So I went with what I chose on the pod, and I really just didn't bet anything on this fight because I didn't want to bet Fluffy at those odds. But yeah, man, Strickland, you never know with him. And this time he ends up getting it done.
Yeah, I guess I should apologize to Shrikar because I basically talked him out of picking Strickland. I did. He was like, I really want to pick him. And I was like, Yeah, but like think about it. Fluffy's minus 300 in the biggest fight of his career. Like that says something. Yeah,
Yeah,
it says.
that's the behind the scenes that y'all don't see.
Yeah, I was like, God damn, bro. Like, oh my God, Fluffy got slimed out, bro. I mean, for a guy that almost felt, I wouldn't say invincible, but somewhat along the lines of that. I mean, Fluffy was just running through everyone. But one thing I noticed combing through MMA Twitter, someone pointed out a very good, someone had a very good point about Holland really set the blueprint of how to beat Fluffy. The body shots, man. I mean, he can't take a body shot. It's kind of concerning. Strickland, great job pushing the pace. Really just fighting his fight and making it awkward. And it just felt like Fluffy could just never get going. He was just never able to get ahead of Strickland. And that's what Strickland does. He makes you fight his fight. And if you're the only person that really was able to kind of veer away from that, I mean, and I'm not going to mention the Pereira fight because it was kind of, they didn't really, Pereira just caught him. It wasn't really much to it. Like Dreekus, just super awkward to the point where Strickland's like, all right, dude, what do I even do? Like, what do I even do against this guy? I don't even, well, Dreekus always says, he's like, I don't even know what I'm going to do in there. I just go out and do it. I think that's really the only way to beat Strickland is just go out, like, just don't even know, just do it. It's that simple. But yeah, I mean, Strickland won the first 2 rounds convincingly. I mean, I don't really think there was any question in it. And then the 3rd round, he just tunes it up, body shot, Fluffy crumbles, and then, you get Strickland as a winner. I like, I have such a love-hate relationship with him. It's like,
I have a deep hate relationship.
Yeah, I mean, like obviously he's not a good person. I'm not condoning what he says, and that post-fight press conference was wild. I'm not even going into it because I feel like just talking about it will get us canceled by association. But he has results. Like he comes in there and he has the results to say, hey, I'm a top 5 guy undoubtedly. And he always proves himself more times than not. And I mean, if we didn't even talk about this either, but the rumblings are that Khamzat's moving up to 205 to fight Yuri in UFC Miami.
So now the latest rumblings are that that's not happening. I don't know what's going on.
I don't like that. So I really hope it doesn't happen. And we potentially we're going to make a video about it, but I'll just say it here, and we could still go back if you guys want to see it. So drop some love, some comments, tell us what you guys want to hear us talk about. That said to me that Khamzat just can't make 185, which is kind of absurd. But I don't see a reason for him to move up. If he does move up, I think it's obvious that you just do Strickland versus Imavov again. If Khamzat stays, obviously I think Imavov still has the claim, and he's earned it to fight Khamzat for the belt. I think Strickland's just in this waiting period now. I mean, I don't really see the need for him to fight anyone else until he gets a title shot. I mean, the guys ahead of him, it's literally just Dreekus and Imavov. I mean, there's no one else for him to fight. And I don't think he's gonna fight down. There's really no point in him doing that. So yeah, he's kind of just in no man's land right now, and he's playing the waiting game. But if he fights Khamzat, oh, God, I would love to see how that fight's gonna go. You know how it's gonna go, just straight takedown attempts. But I would love to see a Strickland Imavov rematch. I would love to see that.
Yeah, Khamzat will murk Strickland. Like I don't even think it'll be relatively close. But
we'll see.
Yeah, man, middleweight is just kind of very weird right now. Because we have no real clarity on what's going on with Khamzat. One day he's at 185. The next day people are hinting at something else entirely. Until we actually see a confirmed title defense, we can't just assume that he's going to stick around. I will say that. If he ends up moving up, I wouldn't be completely shocked at all.
I wouldn't be either.
Point.
But for Fluffy, I think you have him fight Bobby Nux. I think you have him fight Robert Whitaker.
Interesting. I was gonna say, I mean, Kaio and RDR are fighting in a couple weeks here. I would say the winner of Kaio and RDR should fight Fluffy.
Yep, that could also be good.
Because if RDR wins, they already set up Fluffy and RDR for that Vancouver.
That is true.
That is true. And then Kaio and Fluffy is a fresh matchup within the top 5. So I think both of those could work. I don't know if Fluffy should fight all the way down to Whitaker, but it's possible. It's possible. I don't know what direction they're going to go with Fluffy. But for Strickland, obviously a former champ, he just got a win. Nasruddin Imavov, he has clearly positioned himself as the number 1 contender. I say run it back if that belt ends up vacant or if things just get delayed. Do the rematch. Make it 5 rounds. If the belt is vacant, make it for gold. I think this division just needs stability, and this is the cleanest fight to make. So Strickland Imavov 2 would be my next pick for what happens. Obviously, it wouldn't. I know Imavov wants that fight. Would he be upset if it's just for a number 1 contenders bout instead of anything on the line? I'm not sure, but he's definitely calling for the fight. I don't know if Strickland's going to want it, but I think, what choice really is there? Chimaev is kind of just slowing up the division at this point. So
yeah, that's the one. That was the one thing I was worried about with him becoming champion. Is I just felt like that was inevitable. That middleweight was just going to be put to a halt.
Unfortunately, that's literally what it looks like it's happening. Like, we're going to get a lot of contender fights, and unfortunately the champion, it doesn't look like Khamzat's going to fight until, assuming he's not fighting Yuri in April, it's not looking like he'll fight until after Ramadan, so probably in the summer, probably post White House, so probably late June. And we are in February. It is February 23rd.
Yep.
The last time Khamzat fought was last August. We are going to get a year layoff from Khamzat.
And then before that, it was 2023.
Yeah, he just doesn't fight, man. I have so much respect for Khamzat and what he does in the cage. But this is the reality of the situation. A lot of fans were definitely upset that Khamzat was champ for this reason alone, that we would not be an active champ. But yeah, so it goes. Sean Strickland gets it done by TKO to cap off UFC Houston. So overall, I went 6-8 on picks, under 50%. We regroup, we reload. I think I got this in the bag next week with this Mexico City card. I've already done some of the work for it. I'm feeling good about it. Definitely will be a good reset for me because I feel like this Houston card just cooked me.
I think it cooked a lot of people low-key. I saw a lot of people being like, yo, I'm ice cold today.
Yeah, I was definitely ice cold, but
I didn't do much better. I went 8-6, so it's like I'm not a spring chicken over here.
I got time to turn the ship around though. Last year, everyone counted me out, and then pretty much September on, I came back and just won it. So I wouldn't be shocked if the same thing just happens again. But yeah, hey, Tyler, peace out, man. It's 1 a.m. for you. Go to sleep, man. Go to sleep. It's 1 a.m. for Chris, too. It's midnight for me. So we're going to end the stream here. But hey, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Again, like up the stream if you haven't. Show the video some love. Subscribe if you're new. Turn on those post notifications. We appreciate y'all for hopping in the war room with us tonight on a late night stream. We will see you guys next time.